Hi, this is Charles Malky, biologist and plant expert with Ivory Organics, where we grow cool plants, and I'm happy to share that today we've got our Cyber Holiday Sale that's going for 3 days only, where you can take advantage of up to 20% off on the entire product line of Ivory Organics, starting with the 3-in-1 plant guard, ready-to-use spray, the whitewash formula, as well as the 6 macros fertilizers, premium and super blend fertilizers. So starting today, November 24th, the 25th, and ending on November 26th at Cyber Monday, we've got a 3-day sale where you can enjoy 20% off of all of these products. And additionally, we've got these holiday gift boxes over here to my left, which include a 3-pack set of a good cross line of all of the products. We've got our super holiday gift box package, which includes the best and highest blend, the Super Blend Fertilizer, which is our gold label, with our gold label 3-in-1 product with a ready-to-use spray. And then we've got the Premium Holiday Box, which includes the Premium Blend Fertilizer, which is the blue label fertilizer, with the Whitewash, which is the blue line, which also is oil-free, to also go with the ready-to-use spray. So you've got this trio set of products you can get your hands on. Right now, for the price of about 2, you're going to get 3 items. So it's a wonderful opportunity to get your hands on some great products to make your 2019 growing season your best one ever. Wishing you all from Ivory Organics the best growing season ever, and happy gardening. Hi, this is Charles Malky, biologist and plant expert with Ivory Organics, where we grow cool plants, and today I'm announcing our 10 days of giveaways that you're going to earn on the ivoryorganics.com website, where you can find the contest rules by hitting that contest tab that's right there next to the order button when you go to ivoryorganics.com. So be sure to check that out. The contest rules are as follows, and you can find these rules also when you're on the ivoryorganics.com website, which reads as follows. On December 1st through December 10th, hence the 10 days, Ivory Organics will be giving a $30 store credit to one winner that's randomly selected per day that shares an Ivory Organic tip that corresponds to the December date on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and tagging the post with the hashtag Ivory Organic so that your post can be found and entered into the daily drawing. I just want to reiterate with some of these points made that there's going to be some graphics there. You're going to need to grab them and share them on your Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and by inserting that hashtag Ivory Organics, we'll find it, enter you into the contest, and you'll have a chance to win. For example, on December 3rd, 2018, post garden tip number 3 on your social media with the hashtag Ivory Organic in the comment, and you're entered. And the point with that is there's going to be 10 gardening tips. You need to grab that gardening tip that matches that day of the month. So December 1st, gardening tip number 1. On December 5th, it's going to be gardening tip number 5, and so forth. And then winners will be announced on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter each day. So be sure to also join our other social media sites to stay connected and informed during the contest and throughout the years. Available to residents of Earth only, meaning international contestants are encouraged and welcome to participate as well. And now let me just read these 10 helpful gardening tips to hopefully make your 2019 growing season your best one ever. Hopefully, I'll be plugging in some of your gaps from your gardening practices this year, again, to make next year your best growing season. And it's going to start off here with gardening tip number 1. And it reads as follows. Trees, trunk, branches, fruit, and leaves can get sunburnt within hours of purchase. Protect organically with Ivory Organics 3-in-1 and Whitewash products. Gardening tip number 2. Plant life requires 6 macronutrients, not just NPK. Ivory Organics 6 Macros Plus offers your plants all the macronutrients and micronutrients and beneficial microbes and mycorrhiza. Plants need NPK MgSCA, which stands for nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, and calcium. Those are your macronutrients. Gardening tip number 3. Pests such as aphids are a necessary part of a healthy organic garden. Gardening tip number 4. Plant some native flowers and shrubs and or trees to support your local wildlife. Create habitat and maximize pollinators that will benefit your vegetable and fruiting gardening yields. Garden tip number 5. Whitewashing your plants and trees curb the extremes of summer sunburn and winter sun scald. Protect organically with Ivory Organic 3-in-1 and Whitewash products. Gardening tip number 6. Synthetic chemical fertilizers do not feed the soil biology. Rather, they may harm or kill the beneficial microbes and mycorrhiza. Ivory Organic 6 Macros Plus offers your plants with all the macronutrients and micronutrients and beneficial microbes and mycorrhiza. Gardening tip number 7. Your plants and trees are hungriest in the summer. when light days are longest and temperatures are warmest. Fertilize, also feed, your plants slowly in early spring and build up volume by early summer with IV Organic 6 Macros Plus, which offers your plants all the macro and many micronutrients and beneficial microbes and mycorrhiza. Gardening tip number 8. New era planting methods should not involve 50% compost with 50% native soil in the planting hole. Instead, compost should be applied in the top 1 to 3 inches, as would be found in nature, and to prevent unexpected settling that may be detrimental, causing stem rot to the plant and or tree. Gardening tip number 9. Charles Malky recommends pruning any plant or tree by a minimum of 5 to 10% per year to keep the base, being the roots of the plant and tree, larger and stronger than the top above ground structure to maintain vigor, balance, and strength. Gardening tip number 10. Latex paint and tar-based products applied to tree wounds and graft unions trap moisture and contribute to rot. IV Organic 3-in-1 and whitewash products are porous and healthier alternatives to protect exposed areas from the entry of disease and pests. So those are 10 helpful gardening tips that I hope will help you. And by sharing it on your social media, again, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, with hashtag IV Organics, you'll be educating your friends and family as well. Thanks again from the IV Organics family, and wishing you all happy gardening. Last product I want to share with you, if we come around here, is the 6 Macros Plus fertilizers. And the fertilizers come in a 4-pound bag as well as an 11.8 ounce bag. The 11.8 ounce bag can be applied as a soil as well as you can create up to 20 plus gallons of liquid fertilizer. 1 tablespoon per gallon will make 20 gallons of liquid fertilizer, and this one will make up to 120 gallons of liquid fertilizer. Again, a tablespoon per gallon, and you'll be offering your plants all of the macronutrients they need. We're most excited about this product because of all of the fertilizers you'll find on the shelf, and I have yet to see one that has all of the macronutrients plants need. If you do your research when it comes to plant macronutrients, a macronutrient is a nutrient a plant needs in abundance. It should exist in your soil, and you may need to do soil tests to see maybe some of the macronutrients that may exist. But if you're dealing with a soil that's void of all the nutrients, this will bring all the macronutrients to your soil, and this is a sure way, safe bet to make sure you're giving your plant all of the nutrition your plants need. And many of you that know at a basic level, you should understand NPK, which is your nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But that's half the story. That's 3 macronutrients plants also need, as the story continues on the front of the label, with magnesium, sulfur, and calcium. So MGS, NPK, MGSCA is the 6 macronutrients plants need, and then it also includes a lot of micronutrients. In addition to, it's loaded with a lot of the beneficial microbes and mycorrhiza. So if you've got a soil that's, again, void of life, you can bring life to the soil, which will help break down the macronutrients and return and bring all of those elements to your plant with each watering. So these are the 6 Macros Plus fertilizers, and we're going to do a demonstration on that as well in just a few moments. But before we do, what I want to do is give you a quick tour of the garden so you can see all of the amazing things that are happening this late in the season. Here we are in this last week of November, and there's quite a bit of color happening in the garden, and I hope you enjoy this segment that was recorded earlier. Check this out. So let me show you how cool a garden can look here in Southern California late November going into December. There's so much to see. Check this out. So as you can see, a lot of work has gone into the production of this YouTube live event. But right behind me is one of my prides and joy, which is the Meyer Sweet Lemon Tree. If you come in a little closer, you can see that it's loaded with lemons, and it's even blooming the next generation of fruit. And as you follow me through the garden, if you can come over this way, you can see over my shoulder I've got 3 varieties of bananas that are growing here. The first one is, and you can see there's a small cluster of Goldfinger bananas. This is a smaller cluster as it's still a young plant. The next generation of babies, which are right here, this is the sucker or the pup growth, will be a lot more vigorous, and with it I'm hoping larger groups and larger bunches of bananas. And then surrounding it to the back are even taller, what are known as the apple variety of bananas, also known as the manzano. And we've harvested, I would say, a good 20 to 30 pounds last year. This year it didn't bloom, but we've got two very large ones ready to bloom come spring, summer. And then here in the back is my all-time favorite of the bananas, is the ice cream banana. And I'm hoping you can capture that bunch of bananas that are back there. And we've consistently harvested between 55 to 60 pounds of bananas every single year off of those. And as you can see, that's the parent plant, and then surrounding it are these very large daughter plants as well. And it's continuously working on making generation after generation after generation. And take a look over here at one of the pups, and this here is one of the pups that'll create another future generation. This here is just an upside down flower from the parts of the flower stalk that were not fruiting. I kind of just put that there to break down and add to the organic biology here in the garden. If you take a look down below, we're even very proud about these mushrooms that are growing here within the garden. These mushrooms are the fruiting bodies of the underground hyphae, also known as the roots or mycorrhiza roots, that can be as long as, and even those are super teeny tiny, but their roots can span over 1,000 feet, interconnecting and interlocking all of the plants within the garden. They're one of the most important parts of a healthy organic garden. And as we continue forward and take a look again, it is the last week of November, going into December. We've got these Granny Smith apples. A lot of you ask, can you grow apples in Southern California? And the answer is clearly yes. And consistently, year after year, we've enjoyed apples on this Granny Smith, and this is a grafted variety. There's in fact 3 varieties of apples on here, and as you can see, they're all coated and protected with the Ivory Organics 3-in-1 plant guard, colors white and green and then brown. And as we continue forward over here, you can even see we're still now at the last of the crops on our fig. And over here, I'm hoping you can come in close enough. You can see that these figs are just starting to waste as the temperatures are getting cold. They're starting to get bruised and gaining these blemishes, but this here is a variety of fig known as the tiger fig. As you can see, it's a yellowish fig with green stripes. And on this fig, we've grafted 7 varieties and 7 flavors of figs, from the tiger fig to behind it, we've got the Cadota fig, and over here in the central part, we've got the brown turkey fig. And over here, the celestial. Let me show you how cool a garden can look here in Southern California, late November going into December. There's so much to see. Check this out. So now we're going to begin the tips and tricks for basically using the Ivory Organics products. So I'm going to demonstrate how the 3-in-1 products work compared to the whitewash products work compared to the 6 macros fertilizers within the home setting. Again, these are very specific tips and tricks that I'm hoping will help you with your application of these products within your garden. The first one is called coating your bulbs. And with this tip and trick, the point is with your, for example, I've got here some crocus bulbs, which are these smaller bulbs. I've got these daffodil bulbs, which are more of a medium-sized bulb. I've got my onion set bulbs. I've got even my potato bulb or tuber. We've got even this amaryllis, which is already blooming type bulb as well. When it comes to your bulbs, for many of you across the country, we've heard stories of when you're planting them in the ground, the insects as well as the underground rodents, whether they be moles, voles, or even gophers, will quickly consume and eat them. And they've accomplished success and had greater success in germinating bulbs in their ground if they coated them using the 3-in-1 product. That's the gold label product. And the value with the product is it has these 7 natural oils that are within it that serve again as a repellent to the insects and the rodents. So the castor oil in there, as well as the mints, whether they be peppermint and spearmint, also offer rodent repellent defenses. And the other oils, like we've read earlier, includes castor, cinnamon, cloves, garlic, peppermint, rosemary, and spearmint. All of those oils in combination offer the plant a lot of repellent protection to insects and rodents, as well as anything else that might chew on those bulbs. So what we're going to do today, and what I want to quickly demonstrate, is you can simply take a gallon bag such as this. I've got my 3-in-1, and I want to emphasize again that we're using the product that has the oil instead of using the Whitewash blue label, as this does not have the oils in it. It just comes with the powder. The yellow label is the product you're going to want to use to offer the bulbs that added protection, again, from insects and rodents. So what we're going to do is put a little of that solution in a 1-gallon bag. And what I'll now do is take my daffodils, I'll take my crocus, and I can take any other bulbs, and I can fill this up and simply tumble it like so. Once these bulbs are coated, I can leave them out to dry as I'm doing over here. On a drier day, this morning is still quite damp and wet, and the humidity is pretty high, but typically within 5 or 10 minutes, the bulbs will dry. I can then plant them, and they'll be now guarded with the organic base powders that are now infused with all of these oils, which include the castor and the mints and all of the oils that we just discussed. So this here is now a guarded, protected bulb that you can now enjoy planting in your garden and can experience and expect greater germination success by doing this. So that is our tips and tricks number 1. The next tip I want to share with you relates to preparing the solution. And as we mentioned earlier, this pint-sized can make your ready-to-use spray. It can make your brush-on solution, in addition to making a tree paste, depending on how much water you add. This here is the ready-to-use spray. And as we mentioned earlier, you can spray it on all of your plants, and it helps at time of transplant, whether it's going from pot to pot or from pot to ground. And this here is a couple of demonstrations I want to share with you before we start mixing some of the solutions. We'll use the ready-to-use spray product that we have in hand. If you come in a little closer, I don't know if it'll share this, but you can see on this pepper leaf, this here was sprayed about 2 months ago. One application on the plant will last an average of anywhere from 3 to 9 months, depending on your moisture and humidity. But this leaf, which was sprayed for a convention we attended about 2 months ago, still has some of the product on the leaf. The rest of these green leaves are unprotected, as it has since grown out from that level. But I just want to demonstrate what the product should look like when you apply it to the plant. I'm now spraying it onto a tomato, I'm spraying it onto my peppers, and I'm spraying it onto my impatiens. And what you should experience and see as I turn it is like this milky protection residue that will then dry on it. And again, what's so special about our products compared to some of the traditional, conventional, I don't know which word you want to use, is that it's one, organic, it's also porous, allowing nutrients and water to pass. I can do a foliar nutritional spray through this product. Once it dries safely, the products will go through the Ivory Organics protection and also still get those nutrients to the plant. So you can still do your foliar feeding through a Ivory Organics protected plant. And again, the benefit will be it's going to serve as an anti-transparent and help reduce transplant shock. And again, all of the oils that are within the product are going to help keep pests from chewing on it and damaging your plants, especially when they're young. And it's important to make sure that the plant's off to the best start possible. We also can spray your larger plants, such as I've got over here a moringa. And I'm hoping you can capture on this. You can see that we've got color brown on the bottom part, color white in the middle section, and then color green towards the top. And we use that using the brush-on solution, simply adding water to the can, but we can also spray the entire canopy of the plant to, again, create a cooler structure that will basically fare better once you plant it, whether it's into a larger container or in the ground. And protecting the entire tree trunk, as we've also done on this dormant fig tree, is going to help the plant, again, in all of those extremes. This fig has been pruned. We're now going into winter. The entire canopy of the plant, which doesn't have a canopy, but that entire structure is now exposed to too much light, and that can potentially result in sunburn. The additional benefit of whitewashing your plants, and you can research this, is that it will also curb the extremes of winter. And this is another important consideration, is winterizing your plants, and by whitewashing your plants you will be able to better curb the extremes of winter by whitewashing your plants. And another benefit of also whitewashing your plants is premature blooms. By having a cooler structure, typically figs are darker wood, and even darker than this I've got behind here some peaches and plums and nectarines, which are even darker than the wood bark of a fig. But by whitewashing it, the goal is you're creating a cooler structure that won't absorb the heat towards the end of winter and not prematurely bloom. It's all too often as you approach the end of winter that the plant will be pushing out some blooms in these false spring days, but we're still not out of winter. By whitewashing, the plant's going to create a cooler structure so that it blooms only when the true temperature of the ground warms up in addition to the temperature. So another value of whitewashing. But what I want to demonstrate now is how to create the ready-to-use spray if you've got the 3-in-1 or even the blue whitewash can. And what you're going to do is you're simply going to take your base powder like so, and I've got over here a teaspoon. And for making a spray bottle of about this size, which is 23 ounces, all we're going to do is add as little as a 1/2 to 1/3 of a teaspoon of powder. And now we're going to add some water. I'm going to mix it. And to make sure it doesn't interfere with the spray end, I'm just using a washcloth like this, and I'm going to filter the contents like so. And what you'll see here is we've now got a filtered solution of the Ivory Organics that's in here. If we're going to add the oils, we can simply add 5 to 10 drops of the oils as well. We would then add this solution to a bottle full of water, and this is now going to create your ready-to-use spray that you can apply on all of, again, your fruits, vegetables, your roses, and all of your ornamentals to help with transplant shock and to minimize the risk of pest damage as it continues to grow within your home garden. So that's our helpful tip number 2. So that's our helpful tip number 2. One other thing I want to share with you, again, is that this bag can make up to 5 gallons of the ready-to-use spray. So if you've got a tank sprayer like I've got here on my left, we would simply, I'm just going to take a couple steps over here. So I've got a gallon of water in my tank sprayer. I would simply take now 1/5 of the powder and pretty much do the same thing as we did with the spray bottle over there. You're going to take 1/5 of the powder, 1/5 of the oil, and filter it first, add it to your gallon of water, and you've got now a gallon of the product that you can now use in the canopies of even your largest trees, and you'll have plenty of solution to do so. The next lesson, let's get back over here, is going to be talking about the extremes and what's the best product to use is one of the questions we get. Summer versus winter extremes, and what's the better product? Should we be using the yellow label, the 3-in-1 plant guard, or should we be using the blue whitewash oil-free product? And the answer, if the goal is specifically to curb the extremes of summer highs as well as winter lows, your better product is to go with the oil-free product, as it will offer further protection than if it has the added oils in it. So if the goal is, again, to protect your plants from the extremes of winter and summer, the better of the 2 products would be to go with the blue whitewash can instead of the 3-in-1 can. The 3-in-1 can is specific, again, for the added benefits of the insects and rodents. Just want to make sure you guys all understand the concepts and how the products can best benefit your garden. And our tips and tricks number 4 is now going to be relating to using the 6 macros plus fertilizer. So we're going to shift over to that section of the demo. And what we've got over here is a 1-gallon container of water, as well as the 6 macros plus fertilizer. And again, I just want to emphasize, if you can come in close enough, I want you to see that the 6 macros plus fertilizer, compared to any other organic or chemical fertilizer, has all of the macronutrients plants need, which include nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, and calcium. And also the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are 13, 12, 13%, which is significantly higher than most organic fertilizers. So that's some of the value you're getting in here. This one here is the 4-pound bag, so it'll make 120 gallons of fertilizer. We're simply going to open it here and take a tablespoon of the fertilizer. I don't know, do you want me to come closer? So we're going to take 1 tablespoon of the fertilizer, we're going to add it to a gallon of water, and we're simply going to stir it. You can use this product with any of your other organic fertilizing techniques. The product can also be supplement to your compost tea, where the goal is to increase and create as much life and nutrients that you'll bring into your garden. This would be a great way to add also the beneficial microbes and mycorrhiza into the tea, explode their population over a couple days, and then bring it into your garden. But what we're going to do here is we're going to allow the solution to sit for about an hour to allow all of those elements within the product to break down, and then you can simply water it. Again, this is assuming after an hour, you can then water all of your plants, and I would start high up in the leaf canopy and basically get the products, as the plants will absorb a lot of the nutrients through their leaves as well. Whatever spills over will go to the ground and the roots will uptake it from there. So you've got those double benefits of using the products. You can also filter the product, as we did over there using the 3-in-1 plant guard product. You can filter the contents to make sure it doesn't interfere with your spray end, and you can also create now a foliar nutritional spray using this product, which has all of the macronutrients and many of the micronutrients. And let me read those for you again. It includes iron, manganese, zinc, copper, and boron. So you'll have all of the macronutrients, a lot of the micronutrients that the plant can readily uptake. And this is an excellent practice. Here we are now in late November. This is one of the best times of the year to be doing a foliar nutritional spray on your citrus, your mangoes, your avocados. Pretty much all of your plants that are still green in the winter is a wonderful time for those plants to uptake nutrients while the roots may be cold and not really doing much in regards to uptaking nutrients. A foliar nutritional spray, the best time is application now to capitalize on maximum blooms and ultimately fruit that you'll get to enjoy in your garden come spring and summer. Let me just double check to make sure we've covered all of our tips and tricks. And now we're going to get to discussing our sale, which is one of the most important things about this Cyber Live weekend. So let's get started with that. So Ivory Organics is having a 3-day cyber sale weekend. It starts today, which is November 24th, Sunday, and Monday. So it'll be November 24, 25, and 26. Simply go to ivorganics.com. There will be a code there, which is Cyber20. You'll input it at checkout and enjoy 20% off of the entire product line. And that does not include the holiday gift box, which is a trio of products which include, one of our box sets, which this here is the beautiful box that it will come in, and the box will contain either, and this is a super package and the other one's called the premium package. The super package will include the super gold label fertilizer in addition to the gold 3-in-1 product in addition to the ready-to-use spray. So that's one of our packages. The second gift box will be the premium gift box, which is the Blue Label fertilizer with the Blue Label 3-in-1 in addition to a ready-to-use spray bottle. And the price on the already discounted holiday gift box is about the price of getting 2 products and getting that third one free. So this is a great opportunity to try all of the Ivory Organics product line by going to ivoryorganics.com. Now, the holiday gift boxes will be made available to you through the end of December. So you have time to get your hands on the holiday gift box. The Cyber Sale, on the other hand, is only 3 days. So this is your best chance to enjoy 20% off the entire product line this weekend only. And lastly, but not least, we also have a 10 days of giveaways that will be starting on December 1st and ending on December 10th. And every single day, we're going to announce a winner of a $30 gift certificate you'll get to enjoy shopping in the Ivory Organics store. And it will also, as we mentioned at the beginning, it's going to be a great opportunity to fill in any voids that you had in your gardening practices this year, because with each day we're going to share a gardening tip that comes from the a book that I'm in the process of publishing, which will come out come spring of 2019. So the 10 tips are 10 tips that you'll kind of get an insight as to what the structure of the book is going to be about. And I want to share with you first the contest rules, and then I'm going to share the 10 tips with you as well. Here we are. So the 10 days of giveaways contest rules starts on December 1st and runs through December 10th, 2018. And Ivory Organics will be giving a $30 store credit to one winner per day that shares the Ivory Organics garden tip that corresponds with the December date on a social media site such as Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And I kind of want to plug in right now for those of you that are watching to be sure to also connect to Ivory Organics social media sites on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as a way to also get more updates in regards to the things that we're doing and sharing and gardening tips, YouTube lessons that we're sharing as well. And be sure to also tag on the post the hashtag IvyOrganic. And that'll be our only way of finding you, as we're looking for your tags in order to see that you've in fact published one of the garden tips that corresponds to the day. And here's the example. Gardening tip number 3. And here's the example. On December 3rd of 2018, you'll be posting garden tip number 3 on your social media with the hashtag Ivory Organics in the comment, and you are now entered. You'll find the images at ivoryorganics.com, and there'll be a tab near the top that reads contest. And below that, you'll find 10 images with the 10 gardening tips that you'll then be downloading and basically sharing on one of those social media sites. I also wrote, be sure to also join our other social media sites to stay connected and informed during the contest and throughout the years. Available to residents of Earth only, meaning international contestants are welcome and encouraged to participate as well. And our products do ship. This is a good lead-in internationally as well. Our products throughout the entire year and probably going into next year has been a $5 flat shipping charge anywhere in the continental USA. On international shipping, we only charge $15 flat fee anywhere in the world, whether you're in Canada or Hong Kong. It's $15 on your entire order. With that being said, I want to share now the gardening tips. I want to read these out loud, and hopefully you can enjoy looking at these images, and hopefully this will improve your gardening practices going into 2019. Gardening tip number 1. Trees, trunk, branches, fruit, and leaves can get sunburnt within hours of purchase. Protect organically with the Ivory Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard and Whitewash products. And this was a lesson we learned in a YouTube lesson about a year ago, where Tom Spellman of Dave Wilson Nursery said every single one of his trees that he plants in his garden. And Dave Wilson Nursery is one of the largest distributor of fruit trees, dormant fruit trees in the country. And he basically shared that every single tree, even in a matter of hours, can get burnt, because within a nursery, they're typically clustered and clumped ever since they were created. But once you take it home, it's now standing alone in your garden exposed to too much sun. So whitewashing your plant can help prevent these risks and that damage from happening. Gardening tip number 2, plant life requires 6 macronutrients, not just NPK as we reviewed with the 6 macros plus fertilizers. Ivy Organic 6 Macros Plus offers your plants all the macronutrients, many micronutrients, and beneficial microbes, and mycorrhiza. And that's your list of all the elements that follow. Your NPK, MGSCA stands for your nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, and calcium. Gardening tip number 3, pests such as aphids are a necessary part of a healthy organic garden. And with this, the point is with aphids, if you see aphids in your garden, some people rush to get, and even if you organically treat, whether it be with a spinosad-based product or a horticultural oil-based product, but by racing to kill the pests in your garden, such as aphids, you're taking away the food source from your beneficial insects, such as your praying mantis and your ladybugs, as you see pictured here in the image. But if you get rid of the food source, you're going to get rid of your beneficial insects as well. So when you see aphids, give them a chance to basically be consumed by some of the beneficial insects within your garden. So don't race to kill those so-called pests until you give them a chance to see if nature within your garden takes care of it by itself. Gardening tip number 4, plant some native flowers, shrubs, and or trees to support your local wildlife, create habitat, and maximize pollinators that will benefit your vegetable garden and fruit garden yields. The point in the lesson with that is by planting your native plants, what you're doing is you're bringing back the plants that once supported the birds and the insects that existed before we came and built our houses and leveled that area that was once habitat and life for all of the surrounding natural ecosystem and wildlife. If you're simply planting, whether it be, and I'm looking at some of the plants within my garden, a lemon tree, a banana, an avocado, and a passion fruit, those all come from other parts of the world. They don't come from where I am right now in Los Angeles, California. Those don't naturally grow, nor do they naturally exist in this area. But by planting some natural plants, whether they be sage or California fuchsia or California poppies, and even some milkweed, we're now better supporting the wildlife and the habitat that exists here. And your plants will benefit from that too, because now you're bringing those pollinators and those beneficial insects and those beneficial pollinating birds such as hummingbirds into your garden to increase your vegetable and fruit yield. So consider dedicating, as I always like to teach, at least 5 to 10% of your property to native plants. Gardening tip number 5, whitewashing your plants and trees curbs the extremes of summer sunburn and winter sun scald. Protect organically with Ivy Organic 3-in-1 whitewash products. My point with this one is whitewashing your plants, again, whether it be the blue label whitewash or the yellow label 3-in-1 products, will help the plant better insulate and curb the extremes of summer as well as winter. If you're doing so as is most often done, using a latex paint or a tar-based product, if you put latex on your house 100 years later, there's still going to be paint on your house. You put paint on your trees, and within 1 to 3 years, that bark is going to replace itself anew, and all of that paint's going to wind up in your garden soil pretty much forever again. And you're contaminating your soil, and ultimately with rains and runoff, you're contaminating the environment. So Ivy Organics is giving you a healthier, organic, better way of accomplishing this. And again, we're proud to share that the Ivy Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard is also registered material for use in organic agriculture. Colors brown and green are still pending, will be coming pretty soon. And now let's go on to gardening tip number 6. Synthetic chemical fertilizers do not feed the soil biology. Rather, they may harm or kill beneficial microbes and mycorrhiza. Ivy Organic 6 Macros Plus offers your plants all of the macronutrients and many of the micronutrients and beneficial microbes and mycorrhiza. The point with this one is when you're feeding your soil, there's a huge difference between feeding your soil with the chemical, and again, that's not necessarily the best word, but synthetic factory-made fertilizers compared to the organics. In an organic fertilizer, let's just take a look at the ingredients, what an organic fertilizer should read like. And this one here, just to let you know, is about 7 to 10 items and running about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines deep. And the ingredients, and again, the 6 macros super blend is, and I'm just going to read the first line: feather meal, alfalfa meal, fishbone meal, kelp meal, cottonseed meal, potassium sulfate, glacial rock dust, neem cake, rock phosphate, oyster shell flour. That's just one line. Like I said, it runs 7 lines deep. And from hopefully what you're hearing, we heard there's feather meal and there's kelp meal, which comes from seaweed, and then there's glacial rock dust, which is the equivalent of something like azomite, where it's crushed volcanic rock to get some of those micronutrients into the product as well. So there are sources that are derived from nature organically, compared to something that's chemical, when applied to the garden may break down partially, and also parts of it may last for a very long period of time. The other thing too is when you apply an organic fertilizer to your garden, you're feeding the soil biology. The worms now have something to eat, compared to if you're using a chemical synthetic fertilizer, the worms can't eat it. It's basically bringing nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium into the soil, but it's not food for the soil biology. And in fact, some of those chemical fertilizers, and there's research to support this, harms the soil biology, and in fact maybe even kills it. So we've got the worms, we've got the beneficial bacteria, and then you got your beneficial fungus, your mycorrhiza, life that's happening in the soil. So all of those are fed when you feed your soil organically, compared to doing so with a synthetic type fertilizer. Gardening tip number 7. Let's turn the page here. Feed your plants slow in early spring and build up volume by early summer with Ivory Organic 6 Macros Plus. Offers your plants all the macronutrients, micronutrients, beneficial microbes, and mycorrhiza. The point with this is your plants in spring are waking up from the cold of winter. When you feed them, start off slow in the winter, but by summer, when the weather is warm, when the soil is warm, and when the daylight hours are approaching now 14 hours compared to only 10 hours of night, with 14 hours of light, there's a lot more metabolic processes happening within the plant, and making sure your soil has all of the macro and a lot of the micro elements will help the plant reach its maximum capacity with growth, color, and yield. So be sure to feed your plants best. I always recommend an early summer should be the peak of the entire year of your fertilizing program. Garden tip number 8. Let me grab it over here. Okay, so gardening tip number 8. My screen's cut off a little bit. I'm just going to read the part that I read, and I'm going to explain it. Should be applied to the top 1 to 3 inches, as would be found in nature, and to prevent unexpected settling that may be detrimental, such as stem rot, to the plant or tree. And the lesson with this is, when the most common way when you buy a plant from your nursery, it's always going to say to mix 50% compost with 50% native soil, and using that as your backfill mix when planting a plant. And the new era planting techniques, which I have shared a couple of times in recent videos, and I'll continue teaching more in 2019, is to basically put that compost in that top, as it reads here, the top 1 to 3 inches, as would be natural in nature. The leaves are falling, creating a layer of life, basically protecting the top, whether it be your wood chips or compost that's created. But you basically feed the top of the soil, and the underlying organisms, the earthworms, the beneficial bacteria, and the other soil life will grab at those nutrients and pull them down into the soil. And the other important factor is that almost, and even on your largest trees, whether they be 20, 30 feet tall, the majority of the life is in that top 18 to 24 inches. So again, by feeding the top of the soil and a good watering practice, all of those nutrients will make themselves available to the entire root system. And it's not necessary to be putting compost deep within your planting hole, as compost in a matter of months will disappear and break down, and that plant can settle leading to, as I wrote over here, stem rot, because the soil is now going to backfill against a plant that's now settling within the hole. Gardening tip number 9. Charles Malky recommends pruning any plant or tree by a maximum of 5 to 10% a year to keep the base, the root of the plant tree, larger and stronger than the top above ground structure to maintain vigor, balance, and health. And the point with gardening tip number 9 is that by pruning above ground, 5 to 10% of the plant, the goal is to create a top structure that is smaller than the base, which is the root system. The plant top structure, on average within a year, you'll notice that there's going to be some dead branches and limbs, which is a natural occurrence, especially after going through winter. Your roots similarly is going to have some dieback as well. But if the root structure is so, if the root structure is there and the top of the plant has reached its maximum capacity, there's a lot of plants that I've noticed will become stunted. The growth from year to year is very minimal as the roots have reached its capacity and the plant structure has reached its capacity. By bringing the plant structure in, even for a plant you barely prune, but by bringing it in 5 to 10% is going to help increase the overall vigor of the plant. But this lesson doesn't apply to all plants, as some plants such as figs enjoy being pruned. Most varieties by as much as 50 to 70% a year. As the more it ends up growing in the subsequent year, pretty much you'll find a fig at every single leaf. Other plants that also enjoy being pruned quite heavily are apricots, and there's specific instructions with a variety of plants and trees. I've taught many of those in gardening lessons, as we've got now over 200 educational lessons on the Ivory Organics YouTube channel, but these are more topics you can expect in the near future. Gardening tip number 10, latex paint and tar-based products applied to tree wounds and graft unions trap moisture and contribute to rot. Ivory Organics 3-in-1 and whitewash products are porous and healthier alternatives to protect exposed areas from the entry of disease. So in addition to, as we mentioned earlier, latex and tar lasting, if you put it on your house 100 years later, you'll still see it, and we don't want, as the plant expands, those products that wind up in our soil. The other negative is they trap moisture. When you trap moisture on a living thing, such as a tree, that's going to create moisture behind it, and any of those exposed wood areas will end up rotting. And so there's a lot of research to basically say do not be using latex paint or tar-based products, as those trap moisture. That includes also with rose prune seal tar-based products. So keep your eyes out looking for those issues when purchasing your products. And that concludes the 10 days of giveaway sale. And now I'd just like to conclude with thanking you, the fans, for, again, all of your love and all of your support over all of these years with the Ivory Organics family of products, and for making the Ivory Organics YouTube channel a leading garden product YouTube channel, again, with over 40,000 of you subscribers that I feel like are my students in the class, and with over 4 million views, which we are truly appreciative of. And we're proud to share that Ivory Organics product can be found from California to the East Coast, Massachusetts, New Jersey, down to Florida, in about 100 stores. And we're proud to share we're going to have another 100 more stores as Home Depot, South United States, from California to Florida, will also be stocking their shelves in the upcoming few months. So you can expect to find those at your Home Depot stores, and I'll be teaching you guys more about that and when you can find that as it becomes available in the upcoming within 90 days. The other thing some of you guys can help me out with is, if your garden center does not have the Ivory Organics products, we are aligned with the 2 biggest distributors in the country, one being Central Garden and Pet, and the second being L&L Nursery. Your garden center can simply contact one of these distributors, which already stock their shelves, and they'll find the Ivory Organics products within their catalogs where they can bring it at a very great price, as when it's in store, you're typically saving on the cost of shipping, and you'll probably find some even better discounts and sales at your local nursery. So I'm hoping you guys can bring that closer to you in your cities in hopefully 2019. And with that, we're done. So thank you all very much, and I want to thank again POV Pool for recording. I know we had a couple of glitches, but I know we did much better than our first YouTube live stream we did about 6 months ago when we launched the 6 macros plus fertilizer. Again, I want to thank the fans because, again, none of this would exist without you guys and the direction you've steered us, and we're very appreciative of the comments. We read all of them, and like I said, it does shape and mold our future and all the goodness that we're trying to bring to the planet. So thank you all very much for your support, and wishing you all happy gardening. Hi, my name is Charles Malky, biologist and plant expert with Ivory Organics, where we grow cool plants. And today, this segment is dedicated to all of those YouTubers that have demonstrated how they've used the Ivory Organics products within their garden or other demonstrations in very creative ways. All of the YouTuber home links are in the comments down below, so be sure to take your time to view those YouTube websites where you can enjoy a lot of other educational gardening channels that are dedicated in so many different ways, which I'm going to share with you in just a moment. The first one I want to share with you comes from John Kohler, who is with growingyourgreens.com. I got to meet with him just a few months ago at a Las Vegas convention with Central Garden and Pet, and they are one of the country's largest distributor of products, and the Ivory Organics product line is being distributed by Central Garden and Pet Supply. So if there's a garden center near you that doesn't have the Ivory Organics products, you can get that by simply having your garden center reach out to Central Garden, or the other distributor that also carries our product is L&L Nursery. But with John Kohler, I just want to share with you that his website again is growingyourgreens.com, and we met in Las Vegas just a few months ago, 2018. And his YouTube channel, I just want to read just a quick segment, is about Growing Your Greens is the most watched gardening show on YouTube. It is a fun and enlightening show on how to grow food at your home and beyond. John shares his experiences growing food in his urban homestead, and he's dedicated to helping you sustainably grow the highest quality fruits, vegetables, herbs, nuts, and edible foods in your front yard and beyond. Another YouTuber I want to also give credit to is the Wisconsin vegetable gardener, Holly and Joey Baird, and they also are the host for a radio show. Ivory Organics is the hotline sponsor on their radio show as well for the 3rd year, coming 2019. And reading from their YouTube channel description, it reads, Joey and Holly are your hosts of the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. The show is a how-to garden show. Grow organically is for the average gardener, simple home living and using what you already have. And it's a GMO growing gardening lesson as well. And I'm proud to share that in regards to the radio channel, you can find them at 860 AM WNOV, again based out of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Another YouTube channel I want to share with you is Develop Awesome Skills with Dave Stone. And Dave Stone, on his YouTube demonstration using the Ivory Organics products, he simply took a small pint-sized can of the Ivory Organics and was able to thin it and offer protection to 9 very well-established trees in his home garden, again by simply adding a little bit more water and getting that protection he wanted to accomplish. He also demonstrates how to use the pint-sized can to create your own ready-to-use foliar spray. So if you need more than just a spray bottle worth of product, these small cans can make up to 5 gallons of foliar spray, and Dave Stone demonstrates how on his YouTube channel, among other things. His YouTube channel description is, have you ever wanted to learn an awesome skill? I'm a certified permaculture designer and moringa grower in Phoenix, Arizona. You can catch me building and experimenting in my garden, Stone Haven, where I show you how to develop awesome skills, so can you. I'm an outdoorsman, nature and animal lover, and even make my own organic wine. I'm passionate about providing inspirational and practical ways to help others transform their life by planting fruit and medicinal trees. Join me at #IWantMoreMoringa Facebook group, where we are planting 1 million moringas in 5 years. I can't do it without you, so get your own moringa tree and have the most nutrient-dense food on the planet growing right in your front yard. Another YouTube channel I want to give credit to is Diana Bain with Garden Love. She's based out of Southern California, and she's an urban gardener. She started gardening several years ago and loves learning and sharing. Her passion is with fruit trees as well as with succulents. And I know she has a lot of potted plants around her garden as well, as she's maximizing the amount of plant life that she has on her property. I am pleased to announce that she's got also several demonstrations using the Ivory Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard, as well as using the 6 macros plus fertilizers. And we met also at the Anawalt Lumber Spring Garden Show earlier this year, and even most recently at the Fall Garden Club that I hosted here at my home with our Los Angeles community. She was there and also did a tour, which you'll find, of my garden, both front and back, on her YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out as well. And then there's T's TLC Trees. He's Tori Oleg, based out of Arizona, and he does several demonstrations as well using the 3-in-1, and goes into great depth on the value of the 6 macros plus fertilizers. So be sure to check out T's TLC Trees. The next one I want to share with you is Bare Root Nation with Kevin Chang. He's based out of Mission Viejo, Orange County, California. He's got on his property over 100 tropical rare fruit trees, which he propagates and shares. So you can reach out to him and also purchase a lot of the things that you see that you also like. He'll make available to you as well. And reading from his YouTube, the description is, Bare Root Nation was created to inspire and spread information to people who participate in or who are interested in learning about permaculture, gardening, and self-sustaining related topics, all very important. Our goal is to be self-sustaining as possible, so not only will we benefit from our yard, but also our neighbors and local community. And that's a generous concept, and something that all of us should be striving to accomplish, is taking care of ourselves as well as our neighbor and surrounding community. The next one I want to share with you, YouTube channel, is called The Gardening Channel with James Pregoni, and he's based out of New Jersey. Be sure to check out his YouTube channel. He's got a ton of YouTube subscribers as well. And his description reads, gardening is my passion and growing food is my specialty. I go beyond organic gardening and work with nature rather than against it. Gardening doesn't have to be hard, and you don't have to be a servant to the garden. I can help you to create a gardening system that works with you and for you rather than you working for it. I allow nature to be the teacher and mimic the natural forest model to create an ideal living environment for all living things. I know there aren't a lot of people who are super excited about gardening their own food, but in the time of GMOs and pesticide-laden foods are causing so many health problems, I'm standing in to gap and teach others that there is a different and better way, and that's fantastic.
How you doing today?
On his YouTube channel, you'll see him demonstrating how he's used the Ivory Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard to repair damaged and cracked bark, either caused from the extremes of summer or winter sun scald, which is another time to really insulate and winterize your plants. And James Pregoni demonstrates that on his YouTube channel. The next one is the Healthy Homestead Living with Rebecca Austin, also known as Coach Green. She's also the author of a book she recently published earlier this year called The Theologenic Diet and What the Bible Says About Diet, Health, and Nutrition, on her YouTube channel, where she demonstrates the use of the 6 macros plus fertilizer. And she has another earlier one with thousands of views demonstrating the 3-in-1 Plant Guard product in her garden on her citrus specifically. She mentions, again, in the most recent one with the 6 macros fertilizers, that 92% of DNA damage is caused by nutrient deficiencies. And she explains how making sure you're feeding your plants all of the nutrients, and again, 6 macros plus is the only fertilizer I've seen on the market that offers your plants all of the 6 macronutrients plants need, a lot of the micronutrients, as well as the beneficial microbes and beneficial mycorrhiza. So it's the most complete organic fertilizer you'll find on the market, and she demonstrates how that will translate to more nutritious food to help improve your health and longevity. And check out also her peppers and potatoes, as well as the marigolds that she fertilized several months ago and did a before and after for you to see as well. So be sure to check that out. And the next YouTube I want to share with you is POV Pool. And POV Pool, you can check out a demonstration where Geraldine and I fertilized and cared and staked and repot her money plant, which was one of her house plants that she had growing at her office. and we cared for that. You'll see some before and afters where it was a starving for nutrients yellow leaf plant that once we fertilized it turned green and very lush.
Look at this shot here.
And you'll get to see that in one of our YouTube videos. And about POV Pool, 90% of the videos on their channel are produced and directed by them. They take pride in posting original footage. Please subscribe to this channel and watch coverage of live stream, pool action, videotape at some of the best billiard venues in the United States. Be sure to visit POV Pool's website and find and schedule our live events. We live stream at least 30 times a year, and POV Pool should like to begin by posting pool footage taken by some of the following to be played on our live streams. More actions on the way. And again, with POV Pool, they've got the most original billiard content in the world on their YouTube channel, so be sure to check them out. And again, with POV Pool, they're responsible for a lot of the marketing campaigns also for Ivory Organics, and that's a special thank you out to them. And last but not least is El Jardín Perdito with David Lippold. He's based out of Houston, Texas, and he is a aside from being a farmer and loves the urban garden setting, he's also an artist in the sense of his photography and videography. So be sure to check him out. I know he also has an Instagram site, and you'll enjoy that opportunity. There's so many more people than on this list that have Instagram, Twitter, and other accounts as well that are behind the success that Ivory Organics has got to enjoy with our now over 40,000 YouTube subscribers, over 4 million views and counting. And all of that is because of you fans, in addition to those people that keep on sharing our stuff with their friends and family. And so this is a special thank you to you as well. Check these out. So, as Neil Barrington said, the grass is greener where you water it. And that's exactly what the Ivory Organics products are all about. The grass, your plants, your fruit trees, your vegetables, everything that you have will perform better with your care. So not just water it, but feed it and protect it. Curb the extremes of the summer as well as winter. Protect all of those exposed tree trunks and branches from being out in the sun for, in the summertime, we're talking about 14 hours of daylight that is in an unprotected canopy, and especially your youngest plants that you're buying from the nursery that were always in a cluster in a group to now being in the home garden standing alone. Again, those trees can burn in a matter of hours, and it's important to immediately upon installation or repotting or any movement to whitewash that entire structure. So those are some helpful tips I want you to remember in applying the Ivory Organics products, which leads me to the mission statement. And the mission for Ivory Organics is to develop organic, effective, made in America products to maximize the productivity, health, and life of all plants and trees. Ivory Organics also supports the following organizations that, in my opinion, help to make our planet better. And if there's others that you recommend, please share those with us as well. The first one is the Zero Waste Initiative, which is one of several programs that valleygreen.info is all about. So be sure to check them out. And Ivory Organics is striving to become a more of a zero waste company, and I'm hoping to share with you some of those methods and ideologies that we're going to be implementing into the Ivory Organics Company 2019 and beyond. The Children's Hospital of Orange County, we donate to basically support cancer research and hopefully create a world where one day the children don't have to go through prolonged and very draining treatments for curing the cancers and leukemias. And there's methods and treatments that are coming that are going to make it a lot easier, just as it would be a cold and a flu. The future is cancer is just going to be treated just like one of those, with very easy and also easy to deal with types of treatments. And that's what the research is behind at the Children's Hospital of Orange County. The next one is A Million Drops, and this is an organization I truly love, and the people that are within it are wonderful people as well. A Million Drops is dedicated to supporting and helping and caring for the many and exponentially growing homeless population here in Los Angeles, as well as caring for the at-risk youth within our city. And it's great having these resources, and there's a lot of businesses in the surrounding community that provide the resources to help the homeless take showers, wash their clothes, and be provided with good nutrition every single day of the week. And these are resources that are helping these people also get jobs, and even with employment, and I've met many of them that are working but still don't have enough money to still pay for rent. So in a world where the cost of rent is going up, the cost of food is going up, everything is going up, it's becoming ever more important to take care of those that even though they're trying, they still can't make it. And of course, there's also the mental health part of it. But there's programs in place that the community is working on to help take care of all people, as we're all, I believe we all have a duty to care for those in our community. Another one is the Orangutan Foundation. As they're clearing forests across the globe, it's important to create habitat for the orangutans among other animals that depend on these forests that have taken hundreds of years to accomplish, that we're taking them down in a matter of days. So there needs to be conservation efforts towards protecting those forests across the globe. The Tree People of Los Angeles are dedicated to creating plants and planting and creating more habitat for the surrounding wildlife here in Los Angeles. And by planting trees, they're hopefully going to be offsetting the amount of development that's happening within our city as well. So it's important to continuously be adding and giving back as much as you can, as obviously our population has been growing exponentially as well. The Arbor Day Foundation, same concept. The goal is planting trees, but the Arbor Foundation is a national organization from East Coast to West Coast, planting trees in our national forests, which contribute towards cleaning air, removing contaminants, adding oxygen, which is life-giving, in addition to curbing the extremes of both summer and the winter coldness. So plants do a lot of good for our environment, and it's important to continuously add more and more to that. With that being said, I just want you to share also with us if there's any other charitable organizations we should be looking for. Please be sure to write those down in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to review those and see if we can adopt those as a company, as well as we're always looking for organizations that are dedicated towards improving human life as well as animal and plant. I hope you've enjoyed this particular segment from Ivy Organics, and if so, be sure to give us a thumbs up, and most importantly, by subscribing down below, you'll be connected to this and all of our other educational gardening videos. Thank you again from Ivy Organics, and wishing you all happy gardening.
IV Organic 3-in-1 Tree Guard Paint for fruit trees, ornamental trees, roses, and shrubs. Provides protection from sunburn, insects, and rodents. A must-have when planting your newest additions to ensure the greatest chance to a good start, as well as for protecting your established trees. Never stop growing with IV Organics. Visit ivorganics.com for more informative videos and a list of retailers that supply our organic products.
Hi, this is Charles Malky, biologist and plant expert with Ivy Organics, where we grow cool plants, and I'm happy to share that today we've got our Cyber Holiday Sale that's going for 3 days only, where you can take advantage of up to 20% off on the entire product line of Ivy Organics, starting with the 3-in-1 plant guard, ready-to-use spray, the whitewash formula, as well as the 6 macros fertilizers, premium and super blend fertilizers. So starting today, November 24th, the 25th, and ending on November 26th at Cyber Monday, we've got a 3-day sale where you can enjoy 20% off of all of these products. And additionally, we've got these holiday gift boxes over here to my left, which include a 3-pack set of a good cross line of all of the products. We've got our Super Holiday Gift Box Package, which includes the best and highest blend, the Super Blend Fertilizer, which is our gold label, with our gold label 3-in-1 product with a ready-to-use spray. And then we've got the Premium Holiday Box, which includes the Premium Blend Fertilizer, which is the blue label fertilizer, with the whitewash, which is the blue line, which also is oil-free, to also go with the ready-to-use spray. So you've got this trio set of products you can get your hands on. Right now, for the price of about 2, you're going to get 3 items. So it's a wonderful opportunity to get your hands on some great products to make your 2019 growing season your best one ever. Wishing you all from Ivy Organics the best growing season ever, and happy gardening.